إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح بهذه الأمة فجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين فصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ومن سار على منواله ومن اقتفى بأثره ومن دعا بدعوته إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Certainly our praise are for Allah. And certainly we sing Allah's praises. Certainly we laud Allah. We mention His loftiness, His beauty, His perfection, and His splendor. We seek Allah's help, His aid and His assistance. We seek Allah's guidance. We ask Allah to open our minds, open our eyes, allow us to see that which is good, to see it clearly, to identify it, to recognize it, and have the necessary courage and the necessary strength to follow it and to adhere to it, to have the courage to embark upon that which is correct and beneficial. We ask Allah Almighty and the Most High for forgiveness. We ask Him for pardon. We ask Allah to be kind to us, even though oftentimes we aren't kind to ourselves, not to other human beings, or the disrespect to Allah, and the disobedience to Him, but the disrespect, the cruelty, and the harshness that we show to ourselves first and foremost. Think about that concept. You yourself are ignorant to yourself, and you ask for other people's knowledge. You yourself are stingy to yourself, and you ask of people's generosity and kindness. You're cruel, you're harsh, you mistreat your body, your soul, and your mind, and you say, oh Allah, be merciful to me and be kind to me. We ask Allah for something that we don't even do for ourselves, for kindness, for gentleness. Oftentimes we're very harsh on ourselves. We disrespect our bodies. We disrespect our minds. And of course, there's the damage and the disrespect to the soul that we do on a daily basis. Yet and still we ask Allah for forgiveness. And we ask Allah to pardon us. We're shy in front of Him. We're shy and shamed and afraid in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in light of our bad deeds, our poor service at best, which is limited, at best. Our ibadah, it's limited, it's flawed at best. Let alone we don't perform the ibadah because of our worldly goals and ambitions. We ask Allah, the Mighty and the Most High, to protect us from the evils of our souls, the negativities of our souls, my greed. I ask Allah not to make me a victim of my insatiable appetite, whatever that appetite may be for, money, wealth, desires, lusts. I ask Allah to protect me from my greed. And if Allah doesn't protect me from my greed, and that hole that is in my belly, nothing can fill that hole, not even a pound of sand. Money, wealth, power, status. How many wars have been fought? How many atrocities? How many people died and lost their lives? Genocide, nations wiped away because of one man's greed, one man's lust for power, for control. How many nations have been destroyed that you read about in the books of history because of greed? And greed is one of the worst of a person's negative inner elements. And also from those negative inner elements is cowardice, to be afraid, to be scared, to know something's right but too scared to do it, to know something is wrong and evil and be afraid to stay away from it and stand away from it, to know someone is a tyrant, a wrongdoer, a zalim, but you're too scared to stand up to him. You're too scared to stand in that person's face. You allow him to practice his tyranny, his zulm. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla for protection against arrogance, conceit, scorning others, and having a contemptuous look towards other human beings because of the way you look, how tall you are, or how short you are, in comparison to my height, how thin you are and how thick you are, in comparison to my weight, my stature, and how I'm made and how I'm built. Considering a person's skin color, complexion, a person's region, a person's language, a person's dialect. We are better than you. It is my God-given right to be superior to you. I'm better than you, and God has mandated that. How many atrocities have been made in the history of the human being because of a person having pride and arrogance, thinking, feeling, believing, and most dangerously convincing others that I'm naturally better than you. Where has God said this? Where did he say this at? That you're better than me? Where can I find this? And if you are better than me, and you're made better than me, is your behavior justifiable? Is that the will of God, your behavior? And the atrocities that you make in light of your justification? I'm superior to you. And if the people don't verbalize these things and say these things, it's manifested in their actions. The pride and the arrogance and the conceit, and it's very, very subtle. And the shaitan has more experience than any of us. He's been around longer. He's dealt with people that were better than us, stronger than us, more knowledgeable than us, closer to Allah, and he misled them, tricked them, deceived them. One of the greatest stories that we learn from our forefather, the original ancestor, Adam alayhi salam. Shaitan whispered to him, and whispered to the first woman. He whispered to them, and he tricked them, and he deceived them. So people that have pride, and they don't even realize that they have pride. People have conceit and arrogance, and they think that they feel that they're better. And they think and they feel that their sweat and their perspiration doesn't smell like others do. When a person sweats and perspires, they think they smell like roses. While other people sweat and perspire, and you stink, you smell. They think this and they feel this. And if they don't say it, if they don't verbalize it, and if they're not frank with it, you'll find it in their actions. You'll find it in their behavior. You'll find it in their misdemeanors towards other races, towards other cultures, towards other tribes, towards other clans, towards other ethnicities. You'll find it. And the strangest thing and the weirdest thing in al-Jahiliyyah, from the affairs of this period of filth and this period of base human living, al-Jahiliyyah, you'll find people of one race, one culture, one tribe, looking at each other with the same type of contempt and arrogance and conceit. So these people here, they don't like us because we come from a country. They don't like us because our skin is fair and pale. They don't like us because our skin is dark. They don't like us because our skin is red, because our skin is yellow. We have a yellow tinge to our skin. They treat us a certain way. They abuse us. They berate us. But within our own tribe, within our own clan, Within our own race that is looked down upon by others, we still have pride, arrogance, conceit, racism, prejudice, colorism, and the list of isms. That's an amazing thing if you think about it. These people are against these people. And in our own rank, we fight each other and we look at each other better, worse, superior, inferior. It's amazing. And this goes to show you what Jahiliyyah does. And that there's no sense in Jahiliyyah. There's no logic. There's no reason in Jahiliyyah except for customs. It is the custom. It's the tradition. That's how it is. That's how it was. And if we keep doing it and having this attitude, that's how it will remain until someone makes a change in this cycle. And there are many other negativities of the soul, many other negativities of the body, many other inner elements which are sayyi'at, shurur, evils. And if you fall victim to those evils, there's no prosperity and there's no happiness. These are only a few and there are many others. And those negativities that are contained within the soul, there's another part of the equation. And that part of the equation is the action. The translation of the inward evil, the inward vice, to physical deeds. And that is what the Prophet ﷺ was saying to his companions. مِنْ شُرُورِ أَنفُسِنَا وَسَيِّئَاتِ عَمَلِنَا. Is that when a person does fall victim to greed, a person does fall victim to pride or arrogance, a person does fall victim to cowardice, a person does fall victim to the inner evil, oh Allah, don't punish me for what I have done as a result of the inward negativity. Those who are guided is because Allah has made them so. Know that for sure. As the Prophet ﷺ has informed us, guidance and misguidance is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Guidance and misguidance was decided, was determined before you took your first breath, your first step, your first word. In your mother's womb, the angel is asked, or he's commanded and he asks, Ashaqiyun am Sa'id. Think about those words. Oh Allah, this fetus, this small tiny creature in this woman's belly, in her womb, that she cherishes and she rubs and she prays and she dreams and she fears of having a miscarriage and losing the child. The angel says, oh Allah, will the fetus be happy or miserable? And look at the selection of words. The Prophet ﷺ, he did not say muhted, guided, amdal, or misguided. He doesn't say believer or non-believer. He doesn't say faithful or infidel. But the words used are shaqiyun and sa'id. Happy or wretched. Blessed or miserable. Meaning that if you have no guidance, there's no happiness. And if you're upon misguidance, then for sure there's unhappiness. There's miserableness. So this is something which is decided before you're even born. So if you are upon guidance, and Allah has blessed you, be thankful, be grateful, be mindful of Allah's gift, and never ever think and feel that you're doing Allah a favor by being a Muslim. You're doing the people a favor by being a believer. You're helping out, you're giving Allah something by obeying Him, by serving Him, by worshiping Him. Don't think that. Don't think that you're helping out Allah. Don't think you're adding to His dominion. He chose you. He selected you. He gave you the gift. And what makes you different than the other people? What makes you different to a person who may study more than you, who's more respectful, who's more obedient, who's more talented, and they don't have the gift that you've been given? And that's something which is decided before the baby is even brought into this world. Ashaqiyun am Sa'id. Happy or miserable. And those who are misled, those who are not upon guidance, those who are deaf, dumb, and blind, too deaf to hear the truth, they're too dumb to speak the truth, and they're too blind to see it and to realize it. It's not because necessarily they're bad or they're evil or they hate the truth or this and that. It's because Allah has not made them so. They were decreed to be from the ashqiya, the miserable ones, the wretched ones. So if you're not wretched, be grateful for that. And if you are unhappy and you are depressed and you do have suicidal thoughts, and you're miserable with yourself and your life and your appearance and your family and your grades and this and that, there's a reason why. It's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. It's not just because you're unlucky. It's not just because, oh, Allah hates me and this and that. No, it's deeper than that. It's a reason why. And you have to check yourself. You have to make critical self-evaluation. Why am I miserable? Why am I depressed? Why do I take so many pills? Why do I drink? Why do I smoke weed? Why do I have to watch this before I go to sleep and when I wake up? And I have to listen to this for my day to be good and happy and productive. Why do I feel so lonely by myself? And I have to be around other people. And I have to look towards the next man or the next woman for me to feel confident about myself. There's a reason why. And if that is the case, it's because Allah has willed. So be thankful, be grateful, and most importantly, be mindful, be reflective. Use your mind, be critical. Don't be a person of book smarts, but you don't have common sense. Don't be a person who has common sense or street smarts, you don't have book smarts. And don't be a person who thinks and feels that your purpose and that the reason why you're living and breathing and walking and talking is to go to school and to get a degree and to graduate and to get a job and to make my father happy and to make my mother happy and buy a big house on the hill. That's not the purpose of creation. The purpose of creation is not to become swallowed in debt. It's not to have a job that your peers say it's a good job to have. It's a good profession to have, a good career to have. That's not what happiness is. Money is an ingredient of happiness. This is a fact. And he who feels or doesn't believe that hasn't experienced life. Having money, having education, being a professional, things like this, these are ingredients to happiness. And we all know that an ingredient is not the dish. We know this from culinary arts. You could be missing one ingredient and everything is off. You can add too much of it, too little of it. You cooked it too long. You cooked it for such a short period of time. You didn't whip it. You mixed it. You didn't mince it. Instead, you cut it, you diced it, etc., and the recipe is off. So having these things are ingredients to happiness, but they do not translate into happiness. They do not necessitate and demand happiness, but it's an ingredient. And it's your job to get the rest of the ingredients and to follow the instructions, be it in the time to become happy. I bear witness and I testify that Allah, alone without any partner, deserves to be worshipped. وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. When I become angry, and when I swear, get mad and impulsive, I only say, Wallahi. I swear by Allah. I don't swear by my ancestors. I don't swear by my forefathers. I don't swear by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. When it's time for me to take a test and an exam, I only fear Allah. I put my trust in Allah. And I look forward to what He has decreed for me. That's it. وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. I don't worship my desires. I don't worship money. I don't worship politics, nor do I worship science. I don't worship these things. I only worship Allah the Mighty and the Most High. وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. Without any partner. There isn't a day off that I give to other than Allah. 6 days out of the week is for Allah, and 1 is for other than Allah. 24 hours out of the day, 23 Allah gets, 1 hour is for my ancestors, my tribe, my lineage. I invoke them, I call upon them in the name of my ancestors, in the name of the great men of wisdom from the Greeks, from the Romans, those who established this modern Western society. We have to thank them. We have to call upon them. We have to offer some service to them. وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. Alone without any partner. And that is because the heavens and the earth and everything between the two is in total unison. It's in sync. It's in perfect order, proving that there's only one who made them. And if there's only one who made them, there can only be one who's thanked, one who's worshipped, one who's served, one who's obeyed, one who's mentioned, one who's loved, one who's feared, and only one that I devote everything that I have to His good pleasure. I bear witness and I testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam is His slave, His servant, His worshipper, one who is not above the law, one who is not above this duty and His mission and His command to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. And at the same time, He was Rasulun Kareem. He was a great messenger, a noble messenger, an honored messenger. The Prophet ﷺ says, أَنَا سَيِّدُ وَلَدِ آدَمَ أَجْمَعِينَ. أَنَا سَيِّدُ وَلَدِ آدَمَ وَلَا فَخَرَ. He says, the best of Adam's sons, it's not Abraham. It's not Moses. It's not Jesus. It's not Jacob or John or Jonah. It's me. وَلَا فَخَرَ. And it's not boasting, he says. It's not being arrogant. It's not showing off, but it's the truth. And the truth never needs an apology. The truth never ever needs to be watered down or glazed or presented in an apologetic form. Facts are facts. This is what happened. There's no apology. And as Sayyidu Waladi Adam, the best of Adam's sons, that's me. And I'm a messenger, but greater than just a normal messenger in our sense. Someone delivers a package, a parcel, they knock on your door, they send you a notification, you sign off, you take a box. What do you do when they deliver things to you? Do you open up the package and say, wait, hold on, don't leave yet. Let me check the package. Let me make sure it's the right size. No, this is darker. Online it's lighter. I ordered the purple one. Why is it turquoise? No, I don't want this. This is too light. It feels flimsy. Do you do that with a messenger? When they deliver something to your door, do you have to check how they look? Are they happy with you as a customer or not? No. The messenger delivers it, and then that's it. Please make space, brothers and sisters. Please make space. Please make space for your brothers to come. Please make space. The Prophet ﷺ, he did much more than just deliver a message. But he was someone that told us and commanded us and instructed us to love him, to respect him, and to honor him more than we love, respect, and honor ourselves. More than we cherish and value our own selves. And that in itself is a concept which is beyond profound. A total stranger to you, someone you never met, someone you never saw, someone you never encountered. You have to love him not equally, not similarly, but greater. You have to love him more than those whom you come across and encounter on a daily basis. So the Prophet ﷺ, he delivered his message in a clear way, plain way. There's no ambiguity about the message of Islam. There's nothing hidden or unknown or something that's left out. And that is why we say, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We ask Allah to reward him. We ask Allah to be pleased with him. We ask Allah to accept all of his sacrifices. We ask Allah to raise him and to extol him. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. As Allah says, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Your dhikr, when your name is mentioned, is high. And that's why we say, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And his companions, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and Umar al-Faruq, and Uthman al-Affan bin Nurayn, and Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala, and that great, brave, valiant man. And the rest of the companions, his wives, his children, his family members, the remaining 6 companions that were promised paradise, Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Khadija radiallahu anha, Ammar, and the list goes on of the Sahaba, al-Kiram. We ask Allah to be pleased with them because they supported Islam. They sacrificed for Islam. And if it wasn't for their sacrifice and their struggle, we would not be Muslims here in this Western Hemisphere. Islam wouldn't have reached Canada and North America if it wasn't for the companions did. May Allah Azza wa Jal be pleased with each and every one of them. And may Allah Azza wa Jal continue to raise the status of the Prophet ﷺ among his servants. أقول ما سمعتم وأستغفر الله تعالى لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه كان غفارا. الحمد لله وكفى وصلاة الله وسلامه على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى في جامعه الصحيح حدثنا عمر بن حفص قال حدثنا أبي قال حدثنا الأعمش قال حدثنا مسلم عن مسروق أنه قالت عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها وارضاها صنع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أو صنع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم شيئا فرخص فيه فتنزه عنه قوم فبلغ ذلك النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فخطب فحمد الله ثم قال ما بال أقوام يتنزهون عن الشيء أصنعه فهو الذي إني أشدهم أو أعلمهم بالله وأشدهم له خشية أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Imam Bukhari and others have narrated the report of Abu Hurairah, rather the report of Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, in which she said, صنع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم شيئا فرخص فيه. Listen carefully to these words. The Prophet ﷺ one day, one night, one evening, there was a time in which the Prophet ﷺ صنع, he did something. He performed something, an act of worship, a drink, something to eat, a piece of clothing, a way of sleeping, something that he did. فَرَخَّصَ فِيهِ. And not only did he do it, not only did he drink it or eat it or wear it, not only did he go to sleep or wake up, not only did he pray like this, but on top of that, فَرَخَّصَ فِيهِ. He allowed the companions to do it as well. I.e., it isn't something specific to me. It isn't something that Allah has given me just for me. Because there are many things that the Prophet ﷺ was given and he was allowed to do that companions were not. He was a normal human and at the same time he wasn't. There are khasa'is, things that he was given that no other man could do, but not in this instance. صَنَعَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ شَيْئًا فَرَخَّصَ فِيهِ. He did something himself, and then he allowed the companions to do it as well. And then what happened? The companions saw the Prophet ﷺ doing it, and they did it? No. فَتَنَزَّهَ عَنْهُ قَوْمٌ. There were a group of the companions, some of the companions, some men, some women, تَنَزَّهُ عَنْهُ. They refrained from doing it. They didn't do it. Only the Prophet can sleep like that. Only the Prophet can drink this drink. Only the Prophet can pray like that. Only the Prophet ﷺ can eat this. Only the Prophet can have meat. Only the Prophet can drink this. Only the Prophet can marry, or whatever the issue was. تَنَزَّهَ عَنْهُ قَوْمٌ. That's not for us, that's only for the Prophet ﷺ. فَبَلَغَ ذَلِكَ النَّبِيَّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. And the Prophet, he heard about this. Or he saw it. It reached him. He saw that the companions did not take his example. They did not listen to him. And then he heard about it. And what did the Prophet ﷺ do? Aisha, she tells us, فَخَطَبَ فَحَمِدَ اللَّهَ ثُمَّ قَالَ. The Prophet ﷺ, he gave the companions a speech, a khutbah. He addressed them, he talked to them. He verbalized what was on his mind and in his heart. And he began his khutbah by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna alhamdulillah. He praised Allah. ثُمَّ قَالَ. And then he said, مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ يَتَنَزَّهُونَ عَنِ الشَّيْءِ أَصْنَعُهُ. He says, what is wrong with some men? What's wrong with some people? What is the matter with some women? People, يَتَنَزَّهُونَ عَنِ الشَّيْءِ أَصْنَعُهُ. That feel or think that they're better than what I'm doing. I do something, I perform something, I eat, I drink, I sleep, I pray, etc. And they, يَتَنَزَّهُونَ عَنْهُ. They say, no, we're not good enough for that. We aren't worthy for that. That's only for the Prophet, etc., etc. What is wrong with these people? The Prophet, ﷺ, he then said, for wallahi, he says, I swear by Allah, believe me, I'm telling the truth. Inni la'a'lamuhum billah. I have the most knowledge of Allah. Wa ashadduhum lahu khashyatan. And I have the most fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do you stay away from something that I know is good? Why do you refrain from something that I know should not be refrained from? What's the reason? You know something that I've missed out on? Or you have more piety, more fear of Allah. You dread falling to the haram. You have more fear falling to the makruh more than me. There's no reason why you refrain from something that I have not refrained from. You cannot exceed me in knowledge, and you cannot exceed me in fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a tremendous narration and a beautiful hadith. And it's very practical and extremely pragmatic for us here in this country, in this university. The Prophet ﷺ does something. The Prophet ﷺ allows something to be done. And we say as Muslims, it was only for the Prophet. It was only for the time of the Prophet. It's something that the Prophet knew that we don't know. It's something that the Prophet did, we shouldn't necessarily do. Then put a pause on that for a second. And think about how the followers of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ are to take his example. So we see people today, we say, oh, this is what the religious people do. Or that's something for the Middle East. Or people of this ancestry, Arabs, they know this. They understand this, but not other people. Or the Prophet ﷺ mandated a thing, commanded a thing, encouraged a thing, and say, no, it's not for our place, it's not for our time, it's not for our society, so on and so forth. مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ يَتَنَزَّهُونَ عَنِ الشَّيْءِ أَصْنَعُهُ. What is wrong with people? What are they thinking about? What's the relationship with Allah who see me doing something, hear me doing something, see me allowing a thing, and then they say, we shouldn't do it. We don't need to do it, or we cannot do It's above and beyond us. Because you know something that the Prophet didn't know. The Prophet negated that. He swore by Allah, no one knows Allah better than me. No one knows Allah better than I do. His names, His attributes, His actions, what Allah wants, what Allah says in the Quran. There's no better source than the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. وَأَشَدُّهُمْ لَهُ خَشْيَةً. And there's no one who can be more pious than I. How many Muslims today, they fall into innovations, they fall into sins, they fall into cultural practices, they avoid the way of the Prophet, they stay away from the way of the Prophet, and they make excuses and they say we have to do more than what the Prophet did. It's not enough. We're in 2020. This is Araba. We can't just make 2 rak'ah. We have to make 4. We have to make 6. We have to make 8. We have to make 12. We have to make 20. We have to make 40. The Prophet made 8. The Prophet made 11. The Prophet didn't know more than 13 in one night. We need to do 40. Because of this and because of that and because of Kevin. The Prophet ﷺ said, this is the way. This is the correct way. This is what happens when you go to sleep. You say medical science proves otherwise. Medical science shows otherwise. Medical science, etc. Who knows Allah more than the Prophet? Who made the universe? Who gave man the ability to think, to use his mind, except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Who told your heart to beat and your blood to flow and pump in your veins, except for Allah? Who could know Allah more than the Prophet? And who could know more about the universe than Allah? And every other example or thing that you can come across and put in your mind, you cannot exceed the Prophet's knowledge, and you cannot be more pious than him. So therefore, 1 + 1 has to equal 2. The simple equation and the sum is to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unless it's something that was specific to him, and that's not the case with regards to the etiquette of eating, of drinking, of covering, of praying, of zakat, of hajj, of. The Prophet didn't do it inside of his house. Aisha narrated, Maymuna narrated, Salama narrated, Khadija. He did it in front of all of the companions. And he told them to do it. He encouraged them. He commanded them. He warned them. مَا بَالُ أَقْوَامٍ يَتَنَزَّهُونَ عَنِ الشَّيْءِ أَصْنَعُهُ. What is wrong with the people? Staying away from a thing, avoiding a thing that I myself do. Are you better than me? So just think about this. If your professor does something, your professor uses a book, and he says, well, I won't use that book. Nah, I'll go somewhere else. No, it's not enough study time. The professor says to you, do you know more than me about the subject? I've been teaching it for 30 years. You can be smarter than me, it's possible. But you can't have as much experience as me. 30 years of teaching the same thing. So if I say it's okay to study like this, and you say, no, I'll pick another source, I'll pick another book. It's not a smart pupil. It's not a smart student. And he isn't respectful to his teacher. So the Prophet ﷺ, he did a thing of prayer, of fasting, whatever that act may have been. And then he told the companions to do it, and he told them that it's okay. But some of them felt that they needed a higher level of piety. So this hadith it teaches us is that the leader, when he sees something wrong, and he hears something wrong, he should address it. He should bring it to the surface, and not sweep it under the rug. A father in a household, a mother in a household, a husband, a wife, a teacher, a professor, a teammate, a coach, a captain. When you see something that's evil, you should speak about it. You should address it, and address it in a professional way. The hadith doesn't say that the Prophet cursed the companions, and he called them hypocrites. For khutbah, he gave a khutbah, for hamidallah, and he praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This goes to show that all things are rectified with, through, and by Allah's remembrance. Allah's name comes first. So when we want to speak about an issue, let's praise Allah first and foremost. Let's seek His forgiveness first and foremost, and let's seek His guidance. So he spoke to the companions. And this hadith also shows us فِيهِ الْغَضَبُ عِنْدَ الْأَمْرِ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَالنَّهْيِ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. The permissibility of becoming angry when you're enjoying the good and forbid the evil. But make sure that your anger is for Allah's sake. Make sure that you have blind anger. Like we say, blind justice. In other words, you do a thing that's haram, and I become angry. You do the same thing that's haram. You're my friend. We're close. And I become angry as well. And not I only become angry at the stranger, and not angry at my friend. I become angry at a woman who does something haram. It's haram for you to dress like this. It's haram for you to have a boyfriend in college. It's haram. A'udhu billah, astaghfirullah. But my close friend, or a stranger who's a brother, he has 5 girlfriends, 10 women that he's sleeping with. And I turn a blind eye to that. My son is a womanizer. He abuses women. He sleeps around. And I don't say anything. about shame or dishonor. But my daughter, she talks to one boy. She smiles at one boy. She sends a text message to one boy. And shame and dishonor have descended upon my household. That's not anger for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you're now using discrimination. The Prophet did not discriminate when it came to Allah's laws. Haram is haram. It displeases Allah, it makes me angry. Period. That's it. It's no discrimination. There's no color or race or gender or size when it comes to Allah's laws. The Prophet ﷺ in his hadith, جَمَعَ بَيْنَ الْقُوَّةِ الْعِلْمِيَّةِ وَالْقُوَّةِ الْعَمَلِيَّةِ. It goes to show us theory and practice, knowledge and power. He mentioned two ingredients to eliminate anyone doing something above and beyond him, and that is knowledge and fear. Knowledge is internal. Ilm, science, is internal. And khashya, the fear of Allah, is external. So a leader should use speech and actions. A leader should use theory and practice, and not just sing it and talk about it and preach, but let it be physically shown as well. The Prophet ﷺ, in his beautiful teachings, he does this so many occasions, so many times. He says something and then he does it. And the beginning of the hadith clearly shows that. Sana'a, he did something, فَرَخَصَ فِيهِ. And then he allowed the people to do it. He only allows a thing by telling the people and explaining to them. So the point is, brothers and sisters in Islam, if we think and feel that we can get to Allah through a way or a path other than Al-Islam, other than the Sunnah, other than knowledge, other than fearing Allah, if we think that we're going to be successful in this life, in the grave, when we're resurrected, through other than the teachings of the Kitab and the Sunnah, then this goes to show us that we are astray. And if the Prophet saw it and heard it, he would be angry, and he would not allow it. So take this authentic narration, this authentic hadith, and think about your life as a student. Think about your life as a father, your children, or grandfather. Think about your life as a wife, and the children that you have, and the children that you want to have. Think about your life as a teacher, students that are beneath you. Think about your life as a student, teachers that are above you. Think about your life as a basic 9-to-5 friend, a colleague, my close buddy, my close friend, my sahib, my zamir, whatever name you give. Think about yourself in this hadith. How many things of the Prophet have you heard about and you know of? And how many of them are you implementing and putting into practice yourself? Do you become angry when Allah's laws are violated? Do you become upset when Allah's laws are disrespected? If I stood in this speech right now and I made a statement of racism or misogyny, if I spoke about a race or a culture or a religion, if I spoke about political affairs in an unbefitting manner, what would happen to this MSA? How much heat will come down upon it if I made a statement degrading women? If I made a statement about white people, if I made a statement about Jewish people, how much heat will come down on this MSA? How many people would pick up their signs and protest and become angry and upset and mad, even if it was just a mistake? I didn't mean to say that about people that come from this country. It was an accident. I was angry, a slip of my tongue. How much heat will come down? How many people will become upset and their blood would boil? How dare you say that about people from here? How dare you say that about the founder of this university? And it was just a mistake. The people will become very angry. How angry do we become when Allah's laws are violated and disrespected and humiliated and ridiculed? I leave the answer to you. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.